while Hayden's off in fucking Narnia dealing with the misso, Hayden and I both picked Lloyd as our starting defender lock. You back, Hayden?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, right. So why'd you go with Lloyd?
Well, I mean, I've had him the last few years, and he's obviously speak for himself with his scoring.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I think last year he had a pretty shocking year to like for his standards, and he was still the number one scoring defender. So, yeah, I went. Obviously, you could save a little bit of money there, and I'm having a look to see if whether it's worth trading Lloyd and Crisp down to two slightly lesser defenders to potentially try and turn like a midfielder or like into a premium or something along those lines. So that's something that I'll have a look at maybe tomorrow. But I think for the price, they're both most likely going to play all games. You just leave them in there the whole year, and then I'd be maybe looking to upgrade Hewitt rather than either one of those two, obviously. So.
Yeah, I think Lloyd's a pretty solid lock, pretty much the highest averaging defender for the last couple of years.
Yep.
I think 2020 averaged 122, so can't go wrong at that price point, I think.
Yeah. So obviously Whitfield he's got, as I said yesterday, he's got the potential to be the highest scoring defender this year. It's up 500,000. He's a lock for me straight away, and he's obviously dual position as well. And Hewitt's the one that's come from the Swans, which I'm not really sold on. So that one could potentially change. I could try and maybe get someone a little bit more expensive in there, but at the moment he sort of fits in there. Gibcus has been named. He's going to play. Sin, I'm still not sure about, but what's their game Saturday night? So I've still got a few games on Sunday just in case he doesn't play. And I'd like.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings that he's probably going to start, but who knows? And then Gibcus is a lock, like 13 or 14 touches in the Amy Community Series, so pretty good for that price point.
Did you know if O'Driscoll's going to play, Tay? Give us the inside word.
What's the scoop?
Straight away, I don't think so. He didn't break in last year. So, I don't know. He's got a lot of other defenders in line. But like I said to you today, there's so many injury-prone defenders that he'd probably be round 4 or something. Like, watch Pierce do his ankle or knee or something. And likewise, then Ryan has to move back to that, deeper defence. And then, he'll come in.
Yeah. Is this coming directly from Five himself, this info? Or?
Yeah. He texted me yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
I think you might be right, and I have, as I said to you earlier, I think that Freo and West Coast are both going to have a lot of problems with COVID, so you've probably got some leeway there where you're going to have players that probably wouldn't have got a game who are now going to get a game. So
what I found that a lot of these rookies that haven't played a game yet, they're a little bit more expensive than last year. I mean, obviously, like jumping into the mid. Yeah, but even like 123 for O'Driscoll, he's not a startup. Like, you look at these other guys, they're like 100k, 109 and stuff, and then he's 123.
Yeah. It does all add up. It's like that's what I found. Obviously, with the rookie midfielders, it does add up pretty quickly. It means that you're like a premium down somewhere else, but so I mean, I thought it was pretty tricky this year. Like, I didn't think there was much value in defence, so I sort of tried to stack it on the high end and then try and get a couple of the rookies. I don't know if you guys sort of thought the same thing. I thought there was more value in the forward line, so I sort of went down that path. So quickly, obviously, I'll just run through Steele and Miller. I just wanted to differ myself a little bit from the classic McRae pick, but I mean, I think a lot of people are going to have that, but I was surprised that only about 15 or 16% have Miller, and he's got the potential to be the highest scorer this year, so I thought that was a good sort of point of difference. Obviously Neil at the price, he's going to be a premium by the end, I'd suggest, and Taran Thomas, obviously, we talked about yesterday, his last sort of 7 games last year, he's averaging like 110, 115, so
he had a fair few touches in the preseason as well, so not a bad pick.
I think from all reports, like I was looking at some stats here with his midfield time, I think it was only 46% or something at the start of last year, and then he got up to like close to 60, and that's when his scoring went up, and they've said that he'll be doing the same, so that's sort of reason behind him the pick there. The only thing I could potentially do is move him into the forward line, and then sort of swap someone else out. But I've still got a little bit to go. But I'll make my mind up tomorrow. And then obviously Rao at the price. His first 3 games of his career averaged 140, so it's definitely there, and the contested possession seems to be back. And then you obviously got your rookies, Horn, Francis, Dacos, and Ward, which are pretty much pick themselves. And I think, is it Howe or who from West Coast? I think they've said he's going to play. I think McDonald will play, and the other guy I'm pretty sure will play there. So. I've left myself sort of 60,000 in the bank to sort of play with if I did need to swap one of them out. But obviously with the rolling lockout, so I've gone with Grundy. I think he'll be better than last year. The reason I went with Marshall over the 2 big ones, Gawn and your bloke Darcy.
Big baby Darcy.
Big baby. I think Luke Jackson's and just to give you some context, I had Luke Jackson in my forward line, but I swapped him out for Butters yesterday. Maruzic just convinced me. I think he
stole that one.
To be a much higher scorer. Like looking at it, I still think I'm still tempted to put Jackson in the ruck instead of Marshall, but I think that's a good little balance there. And I've got a backup later if I need him or something like that.
So you've got huge dicks on the bench there.
Is that his name? Is it?
Yeah. Well, look, he's only just Freo's biggest trader. No, he got delisted. So.
Quality dick on the
bench. Yeah, it's Hugh.
Oh shit. Anyway.
Then you obviously went with Dunkley for the solid lock in the forward line, guaranteed big point scorer, and then the value market with Rayner and Caniglio as well. Yeah,
exactly right. Like I thought there was way more value, and I think Bailey's going to get more midfield time there, so that's that pick. Caniglio, I think he's like 70% of teams. Butters is pretty up there as well. They've said he's going to play a lot more midfield time, and I think his numbers just go through the roof when he's obviously playing that extra time in there. And Rayner, they've said that about him as well. So trying to pick as many midfielders in the forward lines as I can, obviously a bit of value there. And the others sort of speak for themselves. But I think Dixon will play round 1, and I'm pretty sure Hayes will play round 1. So if they both play, I want them both in. Otherwise, I'll try and find someone else to slot in there. But that's pretty much my team. Maybe a slight couple of changes, but that'll pretty much be it.
Yeah, I like it, mate.
Do you want to run through
I can't see. What's your projected for round 1? I can't see.
Projected at the moment, 1706.
Rookie numbers.
I was trying so hard to play around numbers. I couldn't get past the 17s, but...
Oh, guys.
I think if you're doing it just based on that projected round score, and you would, your team might look a lot different to what it would if you were... the long haul.
Yeah, for sure.
Haul.
I mean, you just don't know in round 1 either. You have no idea.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Round's a bit of a risk and that sort of stuff, but I mean, that many teams are going to have him. You're sort of all in the same boat. So
yeah.
Have you made any changes from this one, Maruzic, that I'm showing?
No, I'll just bring up that one. Maybe I'll just run through it quickly, and then since we both haven't seen Taze, we can kind of pick that apart afterwards.
Fuck.
Well, you and I went pretty in depth on both our teams for like an hour yesterday, so
that's right.
Yeah, I'll just
fell on deaf ears.
Yeah, fell on deaf ears. Well, my voice did. My voice did anyway. So I'll run through it quickly. Obviously, I've Lloyd in the back line. Same reason as Hayden, guaranteed scorer. I've had him for like the last 4 seasons. Pretty much going to play every game and score 100 plus every game. So you can't go wrong with him. He's got probably my sort of big pick defender. I went with Ridley over Crisp. Was tossing up between Crisp and Rich as well, but went with Ridley being like 50k cheaper on the market. And he had a pretty massive season last year as well. So obviously he gets a bit more of the ball running through the midfield. So I think he has potential to go up a bit there. Whitfield, same reason as you. He's just a gun player, dual position, didn't have the best year last year, but when he's on, he's scoring massive. So,
yep.
Sicily coming back from injury, kind of that mid-range price defender, but I think he'll take a starting role in the back line now and has potential to score big points. And then with Starcevic and Turner, I just went with two players that I know are going to guarantee me 50 or 60 points around.
So
you can kind of get.
One thing I didn't ask yesterday, what's your like sort of end goal with those guys? Are you hoping that they average like you're 80 or 90? You're hoping that they average 60 and you just keep them all year and you eventually trade them? Like,
I'm banking on them averaging 50 or 60 at the moment, just get points in the bank. I didn't want to start with two rookies who I don't know if they're going to play or not. Yeah. Now, that may change. I may switch to someone else, like a young rookie that's a bit cheaper, that's getting game time. But I think the goal with those was just to have a points lock from the start, and then use my mids once they hopefully go up in price, maybe sell them off for cheaper defenders, and upgrade to more premium players. So I thought they were just a solid lock at sort of that mid-range price point to guarantee me some points early on.
Yep.
And then, same reason with O'Driscoll on the bench. Who knows what will happen there, but just a couple of cheap young rookies there.
I keep forgetting too, you need someone for the captain trick. So
yeah, for sure.
And for those who are watching Jim and Easty that don't know the captain trick, you essentially put your vice captain on someone playing early in the round that you think's got the potential to score highly. So like this round, you could have Gawn. And then if he does score really high, you can put your captain onto a player that's not going to play, and then put your emergency on the bench, and then that person will still score. So it's just a bit of a loophole there. So you can have your captain that goes to vice captain, so that vice captain gets double, and you sort of get two bites at the cherry, if that makes sense. So if you're not doing that, you can miss out on 100 points a week pretty easy.
Yeah, it's just giving you two chances to have a big captain score, essentially. So
that's all it is.
And then midfield, I went with Oliver as my sort of big ticket midfielder. I think he's just a bit of a gun. I think he's scoring more as well now. So I think he's going to average, high 20s, 30 disposals every game and start kicking 1 or 2 goals a game and turn into a bit of a freak. So I went with him over McRae. Bit cheaper. I don't think there's much vertical room for growth on McRae's price point. So, and I like Oliver as a bank. Neil and Cripps, obviously they're great value for that price point, right? I was burnt by them last year, buying them at premium prices and then dropping like 200k and being stuck.
Last year. I was still trying to get rid of him, and I kept having to use other trades, and it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare, but going off his Amy Community Series game, he looks like he's pretty much in insane shape at the moment. Good form. I think he had
4 goals or something.
Yeah, 30 touches, 10 clear. Yeah,
30 touches, 4 goals.
Yeah, it's pretty much an insane game. And without Walsh playing at the moment because he's injured, I think he'll score pretty highly. And I think he's too good not to get back to the form he was at season before last. So, and that's pretty much the same thing with Neil. I have there as well. So. And then Real was the same as you, super cheap for the price point. You can't guarantee his body's going to hold up, but if it does, he has the potential to be scoring 140 a round and you'll make 300k on him. So it's a pretty easy pick at that price point. And Shield was pretty much a similar reason, right? He's struggled a bit with injury, but the season before he came to Essendon, he was in pretty insane form, and I think he's got potential to score like 100-point games, kind of like Heppel did last year, and start at 360k and end up at 500k like Heppel did. So, and then the obvious rookie picks of Horn Francis, Stakos, and Rochelle as well there. So, I think they're pretty easy banks, expensive.
But, do you know today? I think a lot.
He wasn't named. So that'll probably be a trade out, I think there. So,
so obviously, and then 2,000 would have been ideal, but.
Yeah, it would have been ideal. But it wasn't named, so you can work it around and go somewhere else.
So you've gone with your 2 big rocks, and then you've gone with Dunkley, and then you've sort of gone with
Well, I'd gone and Bruce to start with, but with Bruce being injured, I had to sub him out and make some changes. I had Duncan in the forward line, got rid of him, and brought in Grundy instead in the ruck. So. Pretty obvious choice there with those two. Dunkley I've had for a couple of years. He's just a gun. I think Treloar's getting a lot more of the ball now in the midfield, especially in the back half of the season. Played pretty well and scored a couple of goals. So I think for 480k, he could be a 100-plus scorer every week. But as we spoke about yesterday, insane in the AAMI Community Series as well. 36 touches, 8 marks. And that's probably why you picked him as well, really, right?
Yeah. Just looking into after Australia, so I just looked into the stats a little bit more.
And then Rayner, same reason as you. Probably going to get a bit more run on the midfield this year. And he has the potential to be a great player. Obviously, former number 1 draft pick. So the potential's there. And at that price point, it's pretty good. And same with Coniglio as well. And then I just went with a cheap rookie for my last spot there and could probably sub him out with Hollands or De Koning if I want to as well. So that was my team.
I like it. All right, so I'm going to get yours up. I'm going to rip it to shreds.
Okay, I'd like to preface with I've been pretty busy lately.
This is not a good start.
You mean you first created the team a couple of days ago?
And I edited it.
Oh no.
Made some changes. Need to change it back, but look, I'm here to talk about it. So
I love it.
All right. So
sorry that mine's iPhone screenshots, but I don't really use a computer.
I can use the power of the internet to make it off. All right, that'll do.
All right.
So we got.
All right, we'll start here. So obviously, there's not much cash in the bank to play with, but it doesn't matter.
It's all right.
We'll start with Zeeble the Seagull, as they call him. Lucky they count the kick in from a behind because he takes it every time. So that was really my main reasoning for him. I had him last year too. He was pretty consistent.
I don't think he's doing it anymore, Tay. I don't think he's taking the kick ins this year.
That's the only thing is he will take some. It's just potentially not going to be taking as many as what he did in the first half of last season. That's the only.
There could be a trade out because it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Crisp, very good. Lots of disposals, a lot of midfield time. So obviously,
7 years.
Scores highly. Will Kelly, he has been obviously I'm going
that's right.
left to right here. Will Kelly, I really like him. He just has had a shocking run with really horrendous injuries. I think one of the first games I watched him play, he broke his arm, but before that he was I think it might have been 2 years ago. He was just on fire. Then I think first game back after that injury, which was probably, I don't know, nearly a year later, got another horrific injury. So hopefully he can stay fit and, I don't know, get off the bench for myself.
Was he injured last year or was that...
I think he was for a big chunk of it.
Yeah, okay.
I think, if I'm recalling correctly.
If he was struggling to break into the Pies team last year, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, wouldn't have picked him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Luke Ryan, there's no real mathematical equation. He's my favourite player, but he's also a good player.
Yeah, we did make a little side bet yesterday. What the chances of you having both Ryan and Darcy in the
Darcy,
team?
Whitfield, we've already gone over that. Obviously, a lot of midfield time as well. O'Driscoll, gone over him as well. Now Chapman, as you can see, pretty expensive for a guy who played, I think, maybe 5 or 6 games last year, but in that AAMI Community Series as well, he cleaned up. He's really good off half back too. Pretty silky with the ball. So
he averaged 80 or something first 3 games, and then obviously got that injury.
Yeah. So I don't know. He sort of came out of nowhere towards the end. I don't know. So hopefully, it does what I'm saying he's going to do.
Your quote.
Paddy McCartan.
He's a lock.
Yeah, he's a lock. Paddy McCartan, let's hope he doesn't get hit in the head. But he's been named to play, so I don't know, former number 1 draft pick. Let's hope he's also not like Jack Watts. Sort of same with you jumping into the midfield as well, Tuke Miller. Obviously, his value can go up a little bit more, probably not a whole heap. But I think it was Stu last year had him as a captain or did a captain's trick as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, why don't I have Tuke Miller in my team? I think I ended up getting him in, paying a premium, but worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Now, I was sort of torn between Bont and McRae, but then obviously a bit short on cash, so I took option 2 with Bont. But I mean, I'm sure Hayden has money on him to win the Brownlow, so let's hope he has Brownlow form.
I don't think he does.
I've changed my bet this year, which I'll quickly discuss later. I've put a few futures
down. And then Bray Shaw, I'm sure you've read every Fox Footy article under the sun this year. It's his year, breakout year, future captain of the team. Bailey Smith, I probably am going to get rid of him, but he is pretty consistent, does kick a few goals.
Sex god.
But I think I can probably, I saw a billboard of him on Canterbury Road in Albert Park today, so cotton on, and I was like, maybe I'll put him on my team, and I did. I think I might replace him with someone like Neil or Cripps. I did have Cripps in my team yesterday, but then I just thought about how Hayden was burnt by him last year, and I couldn't trust him. But
fair enough.
We'll see.
What's his price? He's
Cripps is like $4.50, I think.
Yeah, so
$4.54.
Switch out Smith and get a bit of change, but there's no point really sitting in the bank. Rather have it on a player.
For sure.
Obviously, Rao discussed Berry. Now, Daniel's dad actually told me to get him in. Convinced me. I was like, all right, John, I'll do it. And apparently he's been watching him closely.
Oh, really?
He's going to have a breakout
like a good
season.
Horse.
So, yeah, exactly. So, can't keep a good horse down. We'll see what happens with him. Then we've got, obviously, Horn Francis, Dacos, Ward.
Yeah.
All the same.
Yeah.
Really, I don't even know if he really played. But let's skip down.
The only thing for me with that Berry one was like I sort of, because I had the 2 premiums or like trying to get 3, and I didn't feel like I didn't have enough room for both Rao and Berry.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that yesterday a bit.
And like Ward is like he's gonna like obviously he's on the bench, so you've then got if something happens to one of those guys, you've got someone that can cover, which is good, but. You do have like an extra sort of 70, 80k there that you could have used. If you can get one of them midfielders down, then you could find that 40k to bump that Bont up to a McRae or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
there could be some big changes after this. I've taken some mental photographs of yours. We all go in with the same team.
I was thinking, I was like, I want everyone to see my team, and then I was like, wait up. With Googling for 5 minutes, you can see like every pro's team. Like, why would I want mine? So you've gone sort of a cross between the both of us.
Hybrid.
Look, I was surprised you picked Grundy, actually. Gorney, love him, never let me down, had him for the past few years. Trustworthy. Darcy, again, he gets forward, kicks a few goals as well. As long as he doesn't get injured as well, because a lot of the time I watch obviously every Freo game, he'll go down with like grab his knee or ankle, and you're like, fuck, and then he's out for like a quarter, then comes back miraculously. So hope he doesn't do that, because I really need him, getting disposals.
I couldn't believe when I saw he played 22 games last year. I didn't think he did.
Yeah.
So he's like, although he hurts,
I don't think he played 22 full games. That's the thing.
Yeah. But I mean, if he didn't play some quarters and he still averaged 120, then you'd think that he could actually become the highest scoring. That was definitely my process as well. But
that's my hope anyway. I went huge dicks on the bench. Strategically, I sort of had him in my mind because I didn't think Darling would get vaccinated. And he is a big boy. So I thought he was probably versatile to be able to get into the forward line eventually. I think I don't know if he'll get a game straight away.
Just quickly, what is it with everyone that's got either Cox or Dix in their name and just massive?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mason Cox. Dean Cox.
Nathan Cox.
Charlie Dixon.
Dixon, and think about Coxon back in the Eagles' heyday, back in 2005.
What a weapon.
Dean.
Yeah.
So, not sure how that's relevant here.
No, it's very relevant. When I joined this stream, it said like the content creator has advised that it may contain explicit content, and this is it.
Yeah.
We're talking about huge.
Big dick energy.
Yeah. Now forward line, Trelaw. I thought he was cheap. As long as he doesn't get injured as well. Soft tissue is a big issue for him. But we'll see how we go. I think he's got, I think he can increase in value too. So let's hope he just gets a bit of value, and then if he gets injured, make some money. Jackson, I'm surprised you guys didn't have him in there too, because he rucks, he forwards.
Yeah.
I think he's bound to get consistent amount of points every week.
He was literally like, when I made my team at the start, he was like, I'm putting him in and he's my lock. And just the more that I've come towards the start of the season, I'm now getting cold feet, and I've taken him from the ruck to the forward, and now I can't even find a spot for him in the forward.
Yeah. I think I twisted your arm a little bit yesterday to get rid of him and put Butters in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to check all of our teams before the game, and it's going to be like a hybrid of all three now. Cornelia, we spoke about that. I think he's really cheap. He had a dog of the year last year. Surely he cannot have another shit year.
Like his break even for the year is like 70 points or something at that price. So, even if he goes at 80 or 90, like your forwards, like if you're getting mid 90s, you're going to be one of the top 6 forwards in the game anyway. So easily got the chance to do that.
Well, 2019, 2020 averaged like 100 each season. He just had a shit year last year, so I'd say he'll bounce back.
And it was a pretty interrupted season too, especially for any,
He's had all strange.
The Sydney teams, especially, they were sort of fucked for a bit.
Yeah.
Brody, I don't know if I want to keep him in, to be honest. I just sort of, I had Rayner in, I fucked around, I changed a few things. I don't know what I've done. And then I couldn't get Rayner back in, but I'll have to play around with it properly. But with Brody, he won't play forward. He'll play in the mid. I think he's played pretty well and pretty consistently in the midfield in the Amy series too. So I'll do a bit more research and see. And then obviously that Rochelle guy, whatever his name is, we spoke about. The Koning as well. I'm not really happy with my forwards, to be honest.
I quite like the forward line. Like I obviously haven't got like that like sort of premium, but like sure, like a chance to do it. So
I think the combination of Trelaw and Jackson, I'm pretty happy with. That E. Hollands guy, I honestly don't know much about him. Sort of just Googled like.
I don't even know if he's going to play round 1. So
I
think
don't know.
Tomorrow.
I don't think he is playing round 1. Yeah.
I might get rid of him, Brody, bring Rayner in, and then hopefully have enough cash set aside to get.
It's going to be touch and go. I don't know if you will have enough.
Yeah. I don't know. Haven't done the math.
But I mean, like obviously you've got some other options elsewhere. Like as I said before, you've got 80k on the bench there that you could potentially take advantage of with Ward. Or you could go from a Berry down to a thing, put Ward on the field, and then you got that little bit of extra cash if you want it. That's an option. The other option you've potentially got is maybe trading either one of Zeeble or Crisp down to a short.
Well, now that I've found out he's not going to be the seagull anymore, I'm really second guessing. He's really sucking up a lot of money. So
Jimmy's asked